What? She said you can hot flash now.
Sometimes you never do it. It's 71.
It's comfortable in here.
You want to turn, you want it cooler?
Feels good in here.
It's too. This is committee's first, that Orchard Grove, that's up on.
Oh, yeah.
So Kevin had said
It's time.
6 p.m. All right. Are you ready, Terry? Can you hear me? Okay. You ready down this way?
Yeah. Yes.
Ready this way? I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Trustee King,
Present.
Treasurer Clee,
Present.
Treasurer Leverett,
Present.
Supervisor Miller, Trustee Fabdoff,
Present.
Clerk Triplett here, Trustee Vert. Present. Thank you.
So, Madam Clerk, we have additions for the agenda.
Yes, we do.
So the first item on the agenda will be authorizing the supervisor to sign a resolution for easements for the city of Flint. We have Steve Kalinowski here from the city of Flint, who's going to give us a brief description of the project and answer any questions that the board may have. And then action item J will be the last item. It's catch basin repairs with estimates. And those are the two items I have. I think that's all the items that we're going to be adding. We have any corrections to the minutes from the board meeting of April 15th?
See none. See none.
We don't have any corrections. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the regular board meeting of April 15th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We'll move to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you come to the podium, state your name. You do not have to give us your address, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board. And when I mean address the board, that means you have to speak to us and not the audience, because that's addressing the board up here. That's what the time is for. Thank you very much.
Mark White is right for Flint Township trustee. When I first moved out in the township in 1989, I was driven out of the city of Flint after 3 burglaries and 3 muggings for over $25,000. And I passed on Beecher Road as the realtor took us out to our new home, a sign that said, "Welcome to our rural country setting." Well, you know, I've done Wikipedia today, and Flint Township used to be huge. You know, Montrose, Swartz Creek, everything came from Flint Township. So we're not really that township anymore. And the city of Flint took our name when it incorporated out of Flint Township. It would have been the proper time then for us to change our name, as all the other communities that were born out of Flint Township did. And that's why I'm here again today to say I want to be able to vote on changing our name from the city Flint. We have it in our name. We should not have it in our name, but the point is we've had voter suppression. We had an ad hoc committee. They have not been allowed to vote on it, the people. And with all the things that are going on, like the 40% poverty rate in the city of Flint, the crime that's in the city of Flint, we don't want that here. As Winfield Cooper said, Cooper Commercial at the time, he wrote a letter, he can't sell nothing here without going on and explaining this and explaining that and explaining this. Now, we've got the same thing coming here, and it's been caused by the same reasoning that the past township boards and this present board, because some of the members were here when they did not take it to the ballot. And we need to get off that. We need to have our own identity. Every community needs to have its own identity. The city of Flint has its own identity. We do not. I have been here 35 years. We simply do not have our own identity. I went to the picnic recently. You know, we didn't have a whole bunch of people showing up. We need to foster a community atmosphere where people care about each other, where we don't have, as I do, a vacant lawn across the road 18 inches high. Or, by the way, a $400,000 house in Western Hills I looked at 2 or 3 times with a 2-foot lawn. I could go on. So the idea is we need to get off the map. The city of Flint is a bastion city. If you read the Bible, you may know what I'm talking about. It's where criminals go to avoid being caught after their warrant is out for them. I worked for the city of Flint for 25 years. I know what I'm talking about. I was the city inspector for Auto World. You know, I could go on. I turned people's water off for non-payment. What I seen brother kill brother. Every time you mentioned the city of Flint, I remember Mayor Sharp burning Time magazine when we were the murder capital of the United States of America, and he had a bonfire down there. And I just want to continue to move us forward. You cannot do that with an anchor around your neck and you're swimming in deficit spending just like Flint, which, by the way, I'm a pensioner, is going to go bankrupt. We are following the path of the city of Flint. I'm not exaggerating. When I was on the United Retired Governmental Employees Board of Trustees, I found over $40 million missing for our pension. We had an ACLU attorney working for us. He dual-hatted it. And I asked him one day when I'm gone, when they pushed me off the board because of what I discovered. No one wants to ever do anything at boards when they discover something bad. He says, I'll always remember you for having found that out. I said, thank you. And so we need to make sure our pensions are paid for. We're not doing that. I'm watching them skyrocket. You know, we have a fiscal board on top of on the state of Michigan, you know, a fiscal financial board. We keep doing everything wrong. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
May I?
Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Maxine Powell. I'm a Flint Township resident. 3091 Wagon Trail is my address. I give you that because it's going to be mentioned as part of why I'm here. We've been there this June 10 years, and we've seen our taxes go up and up and up and up. Our house note has stayed the same, but the taxes are more. We pay more in taxes now than we pay a house note. And what I found out was that our property line is right on the boundary of Swartz Creek School District, and I would assume, and Carmen Aim, I'm assuming. We don't have, our children are all adults when we moved there, so we never found out about which schools. But we found out that that's what's going on. So you probably already know Swartz Creek has had like a $20 million millage to help increase their schools. Well, I didn't move to Swartz Creek because I can't afford Swartz Creek. I'm in Flint Township. And not knowing at the time we moved in there, like I said, we didn't have children, our children were adults, so we didn't have to address the school issues. We can't afford the way the millage has gone up for the next 20 years, that millage is going to be where it's at. So since we're right on the line, I've come up here a couple of times and addressed it, even before the pandemic, and the pandemic hit and everything kind of just, so I'm here again, never been to this part. But just like they had, we should have a choice to say we don't want to be in the Swartz Creek District to pay that millage if we're on the dividing line right there, which I've talked to them and we are. So why can't just say, well, we're going to pick the Carmen District versus you're going to just put us in Swartz Creek and give us that increase in millage of summer and winter taxes for the next 20 years. We are retired. There is we can't work overtime to make up the money anymore to pay the taxes. It is what it is. And as you all probably know, as you get older, you get a couple other things going. You get medications and things that you have to pay for. I find out I got more doctor's appointments. It's like a vacation. You got you got the cardio, that's the heart. You got nephro, that's the kidney. I'm a retired nurse from Hurley, so you got neuro. You got all these doctor's appointments. Now I realized I was getting older when I get all this. Like on Monday, this, and this, or it's a pill for that, and a pill for that. And so I'm just saying. Then you have to decide: am I going to pay for this or pay for that? So I hope I'm talking to the right people. I think it would be fair that we choose, since we're on that line. Why should Swartz Creek pull us over the line, or whoever did, and make us pay those millage? I do understand that everybody helps the next generation's children. Somebody was paying when my children were going. Well, my children have been grown for a long time. Now, I paid a while already. My youngest is 35, so I've paid that extra 18 years for somebody else's. I need a break. So I hope I'm talking to the right people that can help us with that. Thank you.
Thank you. What was her address? Can I ask your address again?
3091 Wagon Trail.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Good afternoon. My name is Beth Ann Bodker. I see that the livestock ordinance is part of the new business, and I know it's been discussed long before I started attending the meetings. But I'm hoping that when you do discuss it, you'll explain the logic to me. If I have 5 acres secluded, why I can't have chickens? I just want chickens for eggs. I don't want roosters. So if they're contained, what's the logic of not allowing me to have chickens in the township? So thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Yes, hello. How you doing? Keith Powers. I went to school with a couple on the board there, 67-year Flint Township resident. On the livestock ordinance too, I wasn't going to speak about that, but yes, I would much rather have chickens running in my yard and roosters crowing than the sound of sirens. That just doesn't make for a safe place, I don't think, or safe sounding. Also, there's a new apartment complex going up. The last couple meetings I went to, they said we don't have enough money for police and fire. So what are you telling these people? Go ahead and build the apartment? We can't cover it, but we will, you can build the apartment there. We don't have enough money, but we'll get it from the residents somehow. And also, do we have to develop every piece of property that's vacant in this township? A lot of people come to my neighborhood and say, man, this is like being up north. You got old growth forests, you got fields, you got the walking path behind you, you got a nice chill area, but now you want to add more people, congestion, and right now we have the top 5 in accidents, Dutcher and Corona, Linden and Corona, and we want to add more. Why? Also about abatements, tax abatements, whatever they call them. Can we just eliminate that? This is a desirable area to move. People wouldn't mind doing business here. We have a hell of a retail area, probably one of the top 5 in Michigan. We've already got buildings, we've got the infrastructure, we've got everything. Just tell them, if you want to move here, fine. This is what you're going to have to pay. We need to cover services. We're not going to give you an abatement. They'll come, believe me. Let them go somewhere else. Let all that congestion go somewhere else. Abandoned buildings, fires, whatever. Let that all go somewhere else. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
My name is Don Wright, running for trustee, and most of you know me for some 20 years. I never thought I'd be running for a political office once again, but here I am, good or bad. So I'd just like to announce my candidacy, and I would appreciate any support and what have you. Not here to create any ruffles or feathers or what have you, but I am here to kind of be a continuation of where my job or my wife left off, which was one of the finest treasures in the business, dedication to the cause. That's my goal, to be dedicated. If I'm fortunate to win, I will say thank you. If I'm not, God bless those who do win, and let's get on with the business of Flint Township. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Hello, my name is Randall Chancellor. I live on Fernwood Drive, next to the notorious Party House. So I'm sure you're all aware of whether that is, so I won't get into the particulars, or the people, and I'm using that very loosely, that own that property. First of all, thank you. Thank you, Karen. I know, I live right across the street from Donna. I talked to Donna a lot, and I want to thank everybody, especially for rejecting the offer that came. That was ridiculous. This guy has no morals, no integrity, no honesty, which I built my career and my life on with General Motors, overseeing hundreds of millions of dollars for General Motors, running fleet, military, and government business, parts and service. And the one thing I did is when you ticked me off, and you can ask the current vice president even now, because I was one of his guys, you got me on when you rile me up, I'm going to be on you until it's over, and we're going to win, because we're going to do it 100% legally, and we have the right side. But going out there, I mean, finally, thankfully, they mowed the lawn. It's, I'm almost 6'5", it was above my knees, and I'm out there doing my camper. Gnats, mosquitoes, all kinds of stuff, not to mention the gunshots that started this. And by the way, I'm retired, so I'm thinking about doing a psychic hotline, because before the house was mysteriously went on fire, I actually predicted that. And they've had that problem before. There must be like the Russians, a lot of bad smoking around at different facilities, And if you did an agreement, they'd be like the Russians too. It wouldn't be worth the paper it's written on if you did it with those folks. So thank you, but if there's laws need to be changed, because this guy had mentioned before, we're gonna buy another property. Well, we need to change the line. Just because it moves out and they're not in my neighborhood anymore, that's not who I am. No. I want everybody in the township to enjoy their retirement. This has not been an enjoyable 1.5 retirement for me. It's caused a great deal of stress in my family. My 2 grandsons were there the night the shots were fired. I've had to deal with this bozo before, calling me a racist and everything else, of which I did mention to him. Funny, I'm from Minneapolis area. And what I thought happened there in that incident, I am not against the cops. My brother was involved at one time and everything else. Bad cops are just criminals to me. That's it. And I don't like criminals. And so I was at 7 Black Lives Matters protesting this, and DeJuan Robinson and Johnny Flanken and those guys did a heck of a job, and so did the sheriff of this area. So I took that to offense and went back after him like that. And then he happened to let it slip that he was a Donald Trump supporter too. So what's that tell you about the guy's integrity? I said, of course you are. You're a pathological liar and grifter just like him. But anyways, I just want to say, please stick to this. I am not a patient person, and I've looked into some multiple legal avenues myself, including suing of them on the property. But what'll happen, it's an LLC, he'll just declare bankruptcy, I won't see my money anyways. Probably is what's going to happen. But we're still looking into some of those matters. But please hold their feet to the fire. I'm being as patient as I can, as are the neighbors in the neighborhood. Poor Nate is the one that suffered all, and on the other side of the house, is the one that suffered all the smoke damage when that, it's a tremendous amount of smoke damage when that place had. So this has affected many people's lives, not including the bullet that went through somebody else's house. And if we got to tighten it up, if we got to do what we need to be, if the police need, the fire, whomever needs more support, I'm here to offer it. I'm right next door. I've talked to the code enforcement officer before. He's been very good in communicating and following up on that. So more kudos to him. So that's all I had to say right now. Thank you very much, and let's just make sure this doesn't happen again to anybody else.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Good evening, Board. I'm Mike Kilbreth. I want to draw your attention. I sat here through a closed session. I think you got bad legal advice. I read the statute to everyone in the hallway. The reason you cited to go into closed session doesn't meet the statute, which I read to everyone. You can't have a legal letter about something unless we don't know about a pending lawsuit. I think that's the word that was in the statute, pending lawsuit. Okay, that's number one. The other 2 reasons are negotiating for real estate purchase or buying real estate or selling real estate, or thirdly, you can talk about personnel matters. Now, I don't want to talk about rumors. I've heard the meeting was about a second special meeting about a member of your board. I won't mention that. I don't know if it's true or not, but he's not a member of the personnel because he's an elected official. And there's a specific statute that differentiates between elected officials and personnel. So you can't have a meeting about personnel if it was indeed about one of your board members. So there are a few problems with you guys doing things with bad legal advice. You need to seek different legal advice to find out if the legal advice you're getting is correct, or read the English language, which is on the statute. It's clear you can't do what you did. Secondly, I understand one citizen has a FOIA request on a request that Barb Vert made for how much money was spent to have your 2 special assessments, which turned into 1 when the business community lost their mind about a 4 mil tax increase. Okay, if you are trying to tell me it's $9,000, I got a problem with that, because I saw a dog and pony show that had to be funded with taxpayer dollars. And by the way, Mr. Klee, you're on tape saying that the meeting was to determine if it was, the voters don't want a special assessment, we'll look at a millage. It's illegal to use tax dollars to prepare anything for a millage. So whatever costs went into not only township personnel showing up at that meeting, but township personnel preparing that dog and pony show. And by the way, one prominent member of the business community went to all the other municipalities and found out that your numbers saying that the township, and I like many of the business people, I respect the police and fire, and we do a wonderful job, and we need twice as many. And they need to pay twice as much, but we need tax dollars to do it. And you need tax dollars not from the residents, but from businesses. You got Genesee Valley that used to have personal property taxes in the thousands that could fund the police department. Now there's no personal property taxes coming from stores like Sears that had $1 million worth of inventory at all times. So I have a problem with that. The meeting that they presented all that, you mentioned your calls were so much higher than everybody else. Well, your fires aren't. I found one that he gave me, I think it's Davison, don't quote me, I think it was Davison City Township and Richfield Township. They got more population, they had a lot more fires than you guys had. But they're not showing up with fire trucks to help lift some old lady back into her house. They're not showing up with fire trucks at accident scenes. I've gone by accident scenes, there's 2 fire trucks and 5 extra policemen, 5 extra firemen. What in the world is going on? Is this board supervising and allowing that? If you want to go for another millage for fire and police, I don't think the citizens are going to support it because they see that. So those numbers are not correct. It's not $9,100. It's a lot more than that, because personnel of this township prepared information that went into that meeting, and that's wrong. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents in. I'll close with this. I've mentioned a couple times about the 4 people, and 2 are on this board still. 2 have resigned. 4 people voted to extend a person's tenure for another month and a half, I believe it was.
Thank you, Mr. Kilburn. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Dave Huffman, 2483 Warner Road. I guess this is meet the candidate night in a way, so I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring here too. I'm a candidate for Flint Township Treasurer. And I didn't come to this decision just off the cuff. I've lived out here in this township for 50 years. I've been a cheerleader for this township. I'm concerned about the township. I'm concerned about the business community, and I'm concerned about the constituents that pay the bills to run our government. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case in the last few months. You know, when you hear we're going after a 40% increase for citizens and businesses, and we're not going to let the people participate, we're not going to let the people vote on something like this, that is wrong. That is not democracy. That's almost like a dictatorship. And if I'm elected, that will never happen on my watch, ever. I will protect the business people. I will protect the citizens.
I will never, ever consider ever voting for a tax increase of any way, shape, or form without a vote of the people. The previous speaker, Mr. Kilbreth, mentioned we've had a request by one of the trustees to give the financial report on our meeting that we had about this assessment over to the Nazarene Church. Well, I think if my memory serves me correct, that meeting was February 29th, and here we are at the end of May, and we still haven't heard this report. I find that sort of troublesome. So I decided maybe I could get a little action, and I did FOIA that with the township, requesting all money that went into that meeting. And like Mr. Kilbreth said, I got a report that broke down legal, postal, everything the township was involved with to a total of $9,000. And I thought, okay, that's fine. But what I'm starting to hear, we had personnel on township time that was responsible for mailing this out, that those costs weren't incurred. We also had some more letterhead of mailings relating to this assessment that were sent out. So I guess the good news is we have $9,000 of it that we've recovered, but I'm afraid the numbers don't add up. I think there's a few more $1,000 that have not been discovered yet, and we ought to make sure we find out what is going on. This was taxpayers' money. This was a frivolous meeting. We're in financial difficulty in this township, but yet we were going to have an assessment without the vote of the people and pay thousands of dollars to give them the privilege to hear why. That's wrong. I'm a candidate for treasurer. I will never let this sort of thing happen under my watch. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
My name's Roscoe Clark. I'm a Flint Township resident. I got two items I want to comment on. One, I want to thank the organizers and the volunteers for coming together and cleaning up about a mile-long road on Mill Road. We cleaned up about 74 bags of trash, which made that road that was all littered look really nice. And the mowers came through and mowed it, and it's beautiful. So I also want to thank our clerk for, after the rain, it was cloudy, sunny, and rain, but she stuck with it in the mud, and we teamed up slightly, and we picked up 6 more bags of heavy garbage. So that impressed me. The second thing was the Flint Township Police and those that were organizing a neighborhood picnic, and this would happen to be at the Carmen Ainsworth Senior Citizens location in the pavilion. And so around 10:30, the organizers came together and they set up the grills and lots of little giveaways. And people from the community came there over the few hours and had hot dogs and chips and refreshments. And it was quite nice to come to that and see what the Flint Township organizers and volunteers have done. So I'm proud to be a Flint Township resident. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
My name is Gerald Roberts. I've been in Flint Township for over 50 years. I'm deeply concerned, and my wife is deeply concerned about the happenings happening in Flint Township. Went to Baker College. I was GM auditor, worked for General Motors for 33 years, 35 years. Went to Baker's College, got my degree there, accounting major, business management. I see now I was on the economic board, chairperson, responsible for them getting money to improve over on Bristol Road. Heard that was sold to the Uptown Group. There was dorms over there. They're redoing that for low-cost income. I think it's probably for migrants that are going to be coming into this county. Karen says no. I've heard other, but, you know, that's her opinion. There was a gal from the Genesee County Commissioners come in and said there's a for sale sign over here on Genesee Valley. They want to convert that. They hear that Macy's is going out and Penny's is going out. It's going to be a ghost town over there. She made the inference that they wanted to convert that over to low-cost residency. My wife was really scared with regard to this because we're having in our backyard wanting to build a mega site. I heard just tonight that Mr. Tim Herman, who is the head of the Genesee Flint Economic Committee, is going to the state of Michigan tomorrow to request $250 million to build a Chinese battery factory out there. 2 weeks ago, they said that they had released $9.2 million in infrastructure. I've went to a couple of meetings out here in Mundy Township. What would you people think that if you had to sign a non-disclosure act that you couldn't talk to any of these people about that particular chunk? Would that be a violation of your people's trust with regard to them putting you in that position? There is already 400 acres out there that they can't talk about that has been zoned industrial vacant. And those people can't even talk about it out there at Mundy Township because they have signed a non-disclosure act. And they can't talk to the people like here that are concerned over in Mundy Township. They want to build that battery factory over there and do the same thing that they did down here to Flint with regard to the water. What do you think our waters and our wells are going to be like around here? My wife is really scared, thinking that we might want to sell our house to get the heck out of Dodge before it goes to heck. We got wells. My wife is scared. Taxes are going up. She doesn't know if I'm 82 years old. 5 years ago, I was given the last rites. I'm here to the grace of my Lord Jesus Christ right now. She thinks it's just to harass her, but I don't know. That could be a lot of the problem. But anyways, I want it so that she can live in that house and it be a safe house and she can not be afraid to drink the well water and live there for the rest of her life. But the way that the taxes are going, it's kind of hard.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
Thank you for the time.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
That statement, Jerry, about your wife thinks you're here to harass her.
Can you-
Karen's thought that too.
Can you? Making me laugh here, Kevin. Go ahead.
Good day, board. Kevin Stiff, The Dive Shop, G4020 Corona Road. I don't know what to say tonight. You guys got me speechless. Mark White took everything I wanted to say. I'm going to ask the board tonight to think about putting the name change of our township back on the ballot. My customers do not come from Flint Township, and they do not come from the city of Flint. Most of my customers come from Benton, Davison, Ortonville, Oxford, Lansing. They come from everywhere but this area. And one of the main things that they say, they don't want to come to Flint. Flint does not have a good name, and I think it's time to really seriously think about a name change. When I talk to a person, when I'm making an order from California or South Carolina or Florida or other places, one of the first things they ask me is, how do you have a business, or how do you keep your business running in Flint? Even though it's Flint Township, it's always negative. Bad water, crime, everything. And I'm serious, we really do need to get it. We thought about selling our house. We had a real estate agent last year come and give us a price on our house. We have a nice home, moderate, right down the street here. And I was shocked at what they said we could sell our house for. Anywhere else, it would be another $80,000-$90,000 from what our house would be. And I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. And the home prices are not that great. But anyways, off that subject, I see tonight you're gonna pass. We're gonna buy 2 more police cruisers. We never see an explanation why we need two more police cruisers. We never see any explanation on anything except it's there. Chief's gonna ask, and you're gonna say, yep, you guys go ahead, buy 2 more police cruisers. Yep, you need two new more officers. Yep, go ahead. We're gonna have 2 more police officers. When it comes to the fire chief or the assistant fire chief, Raleigh, I never see that, hardly ever, most of the time. Well, how about if we don't get 2 more police officers and we get 2 more firemen? I'm right down the street and I hear sirens all the time, We really need to start really thinking about that. The other day we had an accident at the corner of 75 and Corona Road. And I don't want to exaggerate, but the other morning there was a minimum of 8 police cruisers sitting there on the corner or on the street. Do we need that 8 to 10 police cars? I can't ask that question. I'm just proposing it. Did we need that many? On the expressway the other day, I know there's a lot of traffic on the expressway. There was a rollback picking up a car. There was 4 cruisers on the expressway. I know there's traffic, but do we need 4 of them? That's a lot of man hours. Do we need that? And then the last thing, I'll get this one next time, the budget.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? All righty, we're gonna close public comment and move on to reports. I have a few things to report on. I wanted to mention we received press release from the Road Commission, and it's from MDOT. The department, MDOT, is investing approximately $431,000 to, oh, no, I'm gonna go down to what affects us. They're gonna be closing, that's not even the right one. I have to pull it up. They're closing a ramp on 75 in Flint Township on May 29th. I have to pull up which one that is, so I'm gonna need a minute.
Northbound to Corona Road.
Yep, thank you. Oh, yeah, 118. Ramp, exit 118, you're right. That's May 29th, it's for traffic control, and MDOT's doing that. And the start date, like I said, is May 29th. The estimated end date is June of 2024. So I don't know the exact time they're gonna reopen it, but just be aware when you're driving on the freeway. So I wanted to mention a few things about trash collection. This coming Monday is Memorial Day already, and that delays our trash pickup. So trash will be picked up on Friday. But that's going to be in June, right? I'm not sure. Nope, that'll be May 31st. So the pickup that usually occurs on Thursday, the 30th, will be delayed till May 31st. What else did I want to say? We're asking people to help us with keeping our streets clean. If you have catch basin in front of your house, if you could take the time when you're out mowing to clean the catch basin so the water can flow and the debris doesn't get into the surface water that goes out to the rivers. Also, I want to remind people that we don't allow parking on the streets from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. And, let's see, Mr. Leverett will be pleased we're mentioning this. Please be mindful when you're mowing your grass that the clippings aren't supposed to go into the street, curb, or gutter. So that's supposed to be cleaned up by the person mowing. And we've had some complaints, Mark can testify to that, that people who have been putting basketball hoops in the street in front of their houses. That's not allowed either. I wanted to mention that the county has a lot of household waste drop-off locations. They take things that are normal, garbage company won't take. We have a list, it's a long list, I'm not gonna go through it. You can find it on our website. I also wanted to mention that Financial Plus is having a shred day on June 6th at the main office, 3381 Van Slyke Road from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on June 6th. And the last thing I wanted to mention in my report was if anybody ever came to a road advisory committee meeting, they met Wayne Neerman. Wayne Neerman passed away on May 7th, and his funeral was today. And we usually take time in a moment of silence, but I knew Wayne. I didn't know all about Wayne and his background. He had a PhD, and he was a graduate of Purdue University in West Lafayette, Indiana. He did a lot of work with 4-H Club. He, I'll just read this part. He had a Bachelor's of Science in Agricultural Education. After student teaching, he decided adult and continuing education was his calling. At Purdue, he served as president of Collegiate 4-H, was a member of Farmhouse Fraternity, and he played the trombone in the Purdue ROTC band. To earn extra dollars for college, he drove a gravel truck in the summers and later worked for Purdue University Extension as a summer 4-H agent in Wells County, Indiana. He met Linda during the summer, and she was a summer agent in Adams County, Indiana. They were training teen 4-H junior leaders to be 4-H camp counselors. After graduation, he was selected to be an international farm youth exchange delegate to Brazil. He had to learn Portuguese fast to live and work with various families in Brazil for 6 months. The grassroots international experience framed his major belief that many of the world's problems could be solved if we understood each other. Peace through understanding, a song of peace. Wayne joined the National 4-H Council International Program staff in 1960 as an international program leader, placing and training those delegates to Brazil to live with host families around the world. In exchange, IFYE delegates from these host countries would send delegates to live with host families in the U.S. for 6 months. The first Peace Corps training was ongoing with the International Program staff also at this time. Wayne was put on active duty with the National Guard, Air National Guard, 113th TAC, FTR, WGTAC out of Andrews Air Force Base for the, I don't know all those, what those letters stand for. Based out of Berlin crisis, and out of the Berlin crisis, and other threats while in Washington. Originally, he was with the Indiana National Guard. He later joined Oregon State University, Corvallis, Oregon, as a community service director with Lane County Youth Project and became Extension Community Development Agent with the Small Towns and Cities Project for Oregon. This project originated out of the first White House Initiative on Children and Youth. His fellowship with the foundation brought them to Flint, him and Linda, Michigan, to pursue an advanced degree in inter-university clinical preparation with a focus on community education with local schools as community leadership centers. He obtained a master's degree from Eastern Michigan University in 1968 in community school leadership. His first day at Eastern, he visited with his former high school principal, which, by the way, he graduated from Coes High School as president of their board and salutatorian of his class. Let's see. His former high school principal, who is now the president of Eastern. The University of Michigan presented his doctoral degree in 1982 with his dissertation focused on lobbying for Congress. Wayne was director of development for the T. Wendell Williams Community Education Center School in Flint, utilizing HUD development grant for its conception and development. At the completion of the project, he joined the Michigan Department of Education as an evaluation specialist analyst for community education. His last employment was with Michigan State University College of Agriculture as director of Oakland County Extension in Pontiac, Michigan. He did that for 25 years. Wayne was awarded the MSU Distinguished Alumni Honor in 2017 for his service to MSU and Oakland County. He completed the W.K. Kellogg Foundation internship at the National 4-H Council and a public affairs internship with USDA Extension Service. He was also recognized for his involvement with the SE Michigan Watershed. So I say all this, Wayne did a lot for his community. He's survived by his wife, Linda. Were married for 62 years. He passed on May 7th. He survived a rare cancer thanks to the University of Michigan and MD Anderson research, but he lost his battle to Alzheimer's. So I was at the funeral. It was well attended, and I was amazed at the display of awards that Wayne Neerman received in his lifetime serving the communities that he was involved with. He served on our road advisory from the very beginning in 2006 when they formed that committee until 2023 when he stepped away because of his Alzheimer's. And I just wanted to give recognition. All those years, he volunteered, and he's going to be missed. So I just wanted to let everybody know we have lost a really good man. Madam Clerk.
Good evening. I'd like to start off by thanking everyone, all the election inspectors that actually assist in helping with the election, which was May 7th. It was a success. We had a turnout of about 68%. It was a Flushing school, but because our district sits part in Flushing, we were participating in that in the Living Word as a precinct. So I'd like to thank everyone for that, and my election commissioners for attending the meetings and making sure we get everything going forward. So I'd like to thank everyone for that. Flushing Community School is having a 33rd annual breakfast, which will be May 31st at 8:15. And I will leave this out in front so that if anyone is interested in going, they can attend that as well. Also, we are looking for additional election inspectors for our election on August the 6th. We'll have additional training for anyone that needs to get certified or to recertify their certification. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Treasurer, do you have a report for us this evening?
Yes, thank you. I have an item on number 8, but I'd like to issue a couple of statements here. We've been working hard over the last 8 weeks solid, chasing down past due personal property taxes. We've collected just from letters and phone calls sending out to businesses that have not paid in close to 5 years, and it's just sitting there. It doesn't sound like a lot, but we've brought in a little over $25,000 in the past 6 to 8 weeks, and that's good money here in the House. What that is also is that's money that is most of the percentage of that, it's unfortunate to say this, but there's an interest applied to that, and a lot of that interest stays with us, but we quickly send the money out to those individuals that have not received it. More's in the works. Meaning myself and a couple others have been actually making phone calls, sending out a letter, and then in turn following up on that letter within 5 days and saying, hey, where do you stand? What can you do? Can you come in very shortly, or do you need us to come out and pick up a check from your business? And they've been more than gracious to say, didn't know I owed it, I'm coming in. And several businesses have been active in that. This will continue to take place over the next multiple weeks, and we have a new list created that we're going after additional, I don't want to say going after, but going to go and pursue the dollars that are out there for the township. And I have an item, as I stated, number 8.
Thank you. Do we have any trustee reports? Go ahead.
No, I forgot. I would like to thank my staff in the clerk's department as well as my deputy with the election. Thank you.
Tom, you don't have a report? Copy for all of us about the assessment expenditures?
I'm sorry I did not bring that with me. I will be more than happy to, and it will be with me on the next meeting. Apologize. Yep.
And I also want to, I don't know, can we give the employee's name that's really been going after these delinquent property taxes on her own? Do we dare do that or no? Give her kudos, or we don't do that?
Well, it's the off.
Oh,
Fire
hello?
The department is making the phone calls and sending the letters out, everybody within the department, and then in turn it comes to me and they say, okay, where do you want to go?
Well,
What
I
do you
mean,
wanna
I
do?
know how it works. I just know there's two individuals, and our controller's one of them that's really been attacking it.
Yes.
Kevin McIntyre.
Kevin McIntyre, yes,
Yeah,
and
so-
helping me, saying, go do this, you can go do that, go get that when it's okay. I want to confirm that it's okay to go knock on those doors.
Right. To talk about the cleanup, which was a success, and we had 15 volunteers, which I think might be the most we've ever had. We had just shy of 80 bags of garbage, which is the biggest haul ever. The weather wasn't perfect, but we got it done. And it was nice to see some new people, and I just want to say there's two people that are friends of mine that don't even live here that show up for these. So hopefully we can get more residents the next time. And just to say that the women outworked the men. Just saying.
We do. We do. So
Good.
there was a lot of bags of trash picked up, and we
Yeah.
thank Resource Officer Chiza for helping. I had heard,
So it's his deal.
and we thank you, Barb, for helping.
That's fun.
So there was trash that was thrown out of, I'm going to assume, car windows, because it wasn't the trash truck that dropped the trash. And I know this sounds really simple, but it's against the law to throw garbage out of your out of your vehicle. So if people don't know that, please keep the trash in your car, take it to your house and throw it out, or throw it out in a receptacle, not on the ground. Anyhow, I know that seems pretty simple, but it's all over. Any other trustee reports? This way? This way? Go ahead.
Yes, I'd just like to add to what Supervisor Miller just said about cleaning up our community. And I said this before, but on that corridor down there, the 75 corridor off Corona Road there, it was a pizza box evidently thrown out of somebody's window or something. But all of the residents and everybody in Flint Township, we're gonna have to work together on doing and policing what's going on. I've always acknowledged, scripturally it say, united we stand and divided we fall. So I think I'm making an appeal to everyone that's in the viewing audience and in person right here. We need to come together and make sure that we beautify our township. And this here means that we need to come together physically. Bob Burt just said, Trustee Burt just said that we had about 15 volunteers. You know, when we're doing these things, I don't know if we have to do a better job of communicating with the public. Our View, the lady of the View, she couldn't be there because she was ill. She called me and told me she couldn't be there. But nevertheless, when we see these and hear these type appeals to the community, I think it's vital that we take it at heart and do what we're supposed to do. Many of us kind of communicate after these meetings, and our neighbors and everybody out there. We need to mention it to one another. You know, hey, come on, let's go down to the township or wherever. You understand what I'm saying? We're having these cleanups, and daily we have to recognize that those are the things we're going to have to do. And we're talking about the assessment and all this kind of thing. We don't want it to happen. So what are we going to have to do about it? We're going to have to come together, you understand what I'm saying, and have a volunteer mindset and make these things happen. Encourage our businesses to support all the things that we're doing to try to create curb appeal. And that means them cleaning up their businesses and doing the things they need to do, because you don't want to spend the money, we don't want to spend the money. What else are we going to do? So curb appeal is going to, Officer Chisholm says that it's going to, if we clean up and everything, it's going to curb crime. So let's participate in curbing crime. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to staff reports. Salter.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. We already talked a few weeks ago, we did the Clean Streets, Safe Streets, and all the volunteers helped pick up almost 80 bags of trash just on Mill Road alone, so it's a great job there. Last week was Law Enforcement Appreciation Week. I want to publicly thank Target, Home Depot, Walmart, and Patriot Ambulance. They all stopped by throughout the week and gave us donations, different snacks, different drinks, all the good stuff. So again, thank you to them. Last Saturday, at the Senior Center, we had the Crime Prevention Connection. I'm going to let Trustee Vert talk about that for a minute because she was there for the whole time.
I was. Well, first of all, the weather was perfect because last year it was below freezing and hurricane winds, so it was really, really nice. I wish it was more, well, it should have been more people attend, you know. There was somebody from a church that talked about maybe getting different information out there and that type of thing. But we had hot dogs and we had, what do you call that stuff you give away? Swag?
Right.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. That was pretty popular. You know, and we had a drawing for a Ring doorbell. Everybody filled out a little ticket and that type of thing, which was really nice. But Officer Chiza and Nemechek, they did a really good job. And they do this every year, and it was nice. It was really, really
Not good, I heard. And the swag, I want to clarify, is a grant that we get every year through the CDBG. So it's not money we're spending on the township, it's actually grant money we get to give away.
correct. Yeah, but it was good. It was a good day. Real good.
And I have 3 action items for the agenda tonight.
Thank you.
For the mayor.
Assistant Chief Rowley.
Good evening. I'll start this out with open burn guidelines for Flint Township. We do issue burn permits every day based on the weather. You can find our rules on our website, or you can call the station 732-4413. We'll take down your information, name, address, phone number. As long as the weather cooperates, if the winds are below 10 mile an hour, it's not raining, then generally we'll give out burn permits. We try and tell everyone to limit the amount of leaves, grass clippings, things of that nature, because they do produce a lot of smoke. And obviously, the more smoke that's produced, the more likely there's going to be a call for there's going to be a call for call for service. So contact the fire department, 810-732-4413, and we'll go over the guidelines right over the phone, take your information, and if we're giving them out, you'll get a burn permit. If you'd like a list of all 18 rules, you can find those on our website. But yeah, we do issue burn permits every day, for the most part. It's been a busy 30 days or so since our last meeting. The fire department, since the last board meetings, responded to 142 incidents. That includes 12 structure fires. It's been a busy last 30 days or so. Currently, we're 89 calls for service ahead of where we were last year. A couple of the highlights: on April 23rd, we responded to 2400 block of Beverly Boulevard, the offices of Pasadena Mobile Home Park for a structure fire. On April 26th, we had a large commercial structure fire at Sunridge Apartments that involved 2 buildings. On April 30th, we had a residential structure fire in the 2000 block of Ainsworth. On 5/16, we had another fire at the Checkered Auto Lube down here on Corona Road. That one was caused by contractors working, trying to weld the steel trusses in place, and they got some embers down into the oil pits. Still had oil residue in there, and it didn't take much to take off. On May 17th, we responded to Clover Tree Apartments for a commercial structure fire with entrapment. We arrived on scene, and the second floor apartment was fully involved with a victim on the 3rd story balcony. Our ladder truck was placed, and we were able to make a successful rescue from the 3rd story. That appeared to be a cooking fire in nature, and there was one resident suffered minor injuries. So currently, year-to-date, we have responded to 42 structure fires, which is above where we were year-to-date last year. It has been busy, and there are no signs of slowing down. With that being said, I will ask anybody and everybody, if you know somebody in Flint Township that would like to volunteer their time to be an on-call firefighter, we are accepting applications and begging people to help. The next academy starts in September, October, and that is paid for by the township to send you for all the training that's required. We will get you turnout gear. You'll be trained. You'll get everything that we have, and all we ask is that you show up and assist. Over the last 30 days of all of our fires, we've had a total average of 2.8 on-call firefighters arrive to scene. Our only saving grace at this point in time is our off-duty response from our full-time personnel and our mutual aid departments. And I cannot stress how much appreciation I have towards our mutual aid departments, the City of Flint, Swartz Creek, Mount Morris Township, Flushing Fire, Clio Fires assisted us, Mundy Township, Burton, Grand Blanc. Without these departments assisting us, there would have been a lot more damage done to these buildings. On the other side of that, I'd also like to thank our police department. Our police department and fire department work absolutely amazing together, whether it's a structure fire, a car accident, 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 anything. Police department enough for that, helping foster that relationship. And then we have one item on the agenda.
Thank you. I think that's all our reports this evening. Number 8, Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you. We've all received the request to pay the bills, authorization to pay the bills, and take care of invoices and disbursements, and we're going to request that amount of $2,159,927.89 be adopted and approved since our last meeting, and paid in that respect.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any questions for Mr. Treasurer?
I'm going to say no again because our attorney fees are still a little out of control, and I keep talking about it, and we have to get a grip on them.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, Madam Clerk, roll call, please, to pay the bills in the amount of $2,159,927.89.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Burt?
No.
Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Treasurer Clee?
Yes.
Thank you.
Alrighty,
Thank you, Board.
do we have any correspondence or informational items, Madam Clerk?
No, we do not at this time.
Move on to new business, and that brings us to, we have a resolution that's in draft form, and the City of Flint is looking for easements for us to grant them. And we have from the City of Flint, Engineer Steve Kalinowski. He's going to give us a brief description of the project and answer any questions if we have it. Go ahead.
Okay. The City of Flint is pursuing a project to rehab their sanitary sewage force main that runs, half of it runs through City of Flint, the other half runs through Flint Township. And it starts over from a pump station that's over on University Avenue and at the, I'd call it the east end of Mott Park. It's kind of right in the corner there by the river. And it pumps the sewage from that location down Sunset Avenue, through the park and around Sunset Avenue, and then it kind of goes cross-country through the McLaren property, the church property, the subdivisions over there, the River Forest 2 subdivision, crosses over I-75, and then it runs the rest of the way to the water pollution control facility, which is over on Beecher, just east of, excuse me,
Just on the east of Linden?
East Linden.
yeah,
There you are.
yeah, just, I can't, I'm sorry, I missed the name of the road, but it's the next major road as you go west, down Beecher, the first,
Dye Road?
Milvin, Linden.
yeah.
Milvin,
The
Linden.
plant's on Linden Road, just north
Yeah,
of
Linden,
Linden.
yeah.
Okay.
It's the corner of Linden and Beecher. And it's kind of off the road, so you don't really see it. It's up
You
by the river.
just smell it.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, that stretch is 3 miles long. And there's 2 force mains that serve the pump station. One was, the first one is 50 inches in diameter. It was built in 1924, so it's almost 100 years old.
Wow.
It's a steel pipe force main. The other one is a 72-inch force main that was built in the 1970s, and it's made out of pre-stressed concrete cylinder pipe. And that one's only like 50 years old, but in some respects, there's more concern about that pipe than there is about the steel cylinder pipe because of the type of pipe it is, and it could, should it fail. So what the project is a project to rehab the pipes. The initial project is going to target the 72-inch main first. In addition to doing the force main, there's work needed at either end to isolate the 2 mains, because one needs to stay in service while the other one's being rehabbed. So there's some initial work there. Where Flint Township comes into play here is the force main runs through that River Forest 2 subdivision that has a number of those undeveloped lots that are adjacent to the river and kind of the north side of River Oaks Drive. And there's 5 locations along that route that we need to dig where the force main is. And then what we're gonna do is cut the top off of it, and we're gonna line it with slip lining between pits. And so there's, overall for the 3 miles, there's 24 locations where we have pits. There's 5 locations that are on parcels owned by the township. And so what we're looking for is the resolution that the attorney Michael Gildner put together that identifies the access that we want to those parcels in order to complete the construction work. Now, there is easements through those parcels, for the force mains, but we want some additional work area, so the contractor can come in and do the necessary work and on those parcels, from the pits on those parcels, excavation areas. So,
All righty, does anyone have any questions for Stephen? No? So you'll have the email in front of you. They were still finalizing the draft of the resolution, and we're being asked for a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign a construction/access easement agreement, similar to the attached draft, but in final form acceptable to me, the township, and the attorney. So if someone would like to make that motion, in order.
We would move that we accept the construction and easement access agreement provided by Attorney Gildner to work with the city of Flint on their request to access our property,
And authorizing.
and authorizing you to make that signature.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Any further questions for Mr. Kalinowski?
To get to that position, I wanted to ask the question of,
Am I saying it right?
yeah, we are held completely free and liable of any issues based on the fact that when you guys come to the property, And like you stated, most of those pieces in River Forest are all vacant lands, but I would hate for the contractor to come in, dig a big hole, access it, and leave a pile of dirt, or leave, 10-foot pile of, all of that, let
yeah,
it goes
it
back to
will
the
be
same.
restored.
Original piece, and that we are held clean of any issues for it. Okay.
Any other
I'm
questions?
okay with that.
No? Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for answering our questions. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the construction access easement agreement similar to the attached draft, but in a final form acceptable to the township and the attorney.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Burt?
Yes.
Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Treasurer Clee?
Yes.
And Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Thank you.
So, my business card is out there on the window, and my email, I think you have my email, so just keep me in the loop and we'll get this done.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. So, action item A is the livestock ordinance. And you have that in front of you. And it was basically defining the definition of livestock, which included chickens. So this is our second reading, and tonight we would vote on that if that's what the board wants to do. It was requested that we explain how we got here. So we have had, since I've been here, an ordinance on the books that states there shall be no livestock on less than 10 acres. And it has a whole list of all the livestock that includes, but it wasn't, chickens and such weren't listed on there. So we had written notices of violation and people didn't want to comply. We ended up in court. And for the most part, the people had to get rid of their chicken. Well, more recently, we were challenged in court, and because the definition wasn't defined in our ordinance, we let it go. So then we needed to bring an ordinance that addressed that, because now we have a lot of people who are having chicken and coops and even roosters on, I've seen a goat too, but on their property. And I know I was asking the board for their input on how do we want to handle this, and we had brought a resolution to the board to allow it on 3 acres or more, right? Then we were looking at maybe dropping it down to 1, and then 1.5. Then the night that we were going to vote on it, at the time, Trustee Campbell made a motion to ban all chickens, and that passed. But that left us with an issue because we'd always allowed them on 10 acres or more. That's how we got where we're at. And the resolution in front of us just defines, let's see, amend Chapter 5 of the Code of Ordinances, the new Article 10 to read as follows. Article 10, Livestock and Chickens. No livestock shall be kept or maintained in any zoning district on parcels of land located within a proprietary or assessor's plat or on parcels of less than 10 acres in area, except that for each dwelling unit the occupant may keep for his personal use domestic pets, provided they are not kept or used for commercial or breeding purposes and do not constitute a kennel. For purposes of this article, livestock means horses, stallions, colts, geldings, mares, sheep, rams, lambs, bulls, bullocks, steers, heifers, cows, calves, mules, jacks, jennets, burros, goats, kids and swine, fowl, including chickens and roosters, and fur-bearing animals being raised in captivity. So that's what we have here, definition of livestock. And we'd need a motion. It would be in order to pass the amendment to this ordinance or not. So does someone want to make the motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we drop this ordinance for now and come back and revisit with something reasonable. There's way too many people with chickens out there just to say we're gonna just ban them.
Is somebody?
I know the gentleman.
We have a second here. Go ahead. Did you want to
Yeah,
speak?
I know we had a gentleman that talked about all these big cities that don't allow chickens. The city of New York allows them on rooftops and balconies, just to say. So I think a reasonable ordinance where they keep their chickens within the confines, the building department, therefore, they have to get a permit. Can't hear. They have to get a permit
That allows the building department or code enforcement to go out there and actually inspect this coop. Because at the end of the day, if we have to confiscate these chickens, what are we gonna do with them? I don't believe
We're taking them to your house.
animal control won't take them, they're not a domestic animal. DNR is not gonna, yeah, but then what am I gonna do with them? Chickens. Sell chicken eggs? But then the DNR is not gonna take them because they're not considered wildlife.
Nope.
So we're gonna be stuck with doing what with chickens?
So, we have a motion. Does anyone want to speak on this? I will tell you this. We had that motion, or that, we had that new ordinance here, and it got shot down. So, I will go back to the drawing board and bring back that last one, and it'll be on, what did we say? 3 acres or acre and a half?
Yeah, I think we should get with code enforcement, let them have some input. At the end of the day, they're the ones that actually have to go out there and chase this down.
So does anyone have any other discussion on this current amendment to the ordinance that we're going to vote on?
So there was a motion and a second to what?
Shoot this down and go back to the drawing board.
What's the right word? Delay, postpone,
What word did you
come
use?
back?
Revisit.
What are we doing?
Revisit, to suspend this and revisit this and come up with some
Spend, yeah.
logical ordinance that we can actually
Move for
deal
suspension.
with.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion?
I'm just gonna say one thing. It doesn't matter if you have 100 acres. If you don't contain them, they could end up in my yard, right? Am I right? They could be anywhere. They could be on my roof.
The, that amended ordinance that we brought also stipulated where those could be. They couldn't be on your side lots where they disturb your neighbor. They'd be on the back lot, because there was distance involved.
Yeah, there was
And I thought it was a pretty good ordinance.
Confined within the confines of your property, they just couldn't run your whole
That you
property.
had to keep them clean, or you could be ticketed and have them removed, so. Alrighty, is there any other discussion?
Well, we presently got it at acre and a half, right?
No.
It's in limbo right now,
Okay.
because this board banned them totally, and then we brought this back to define it. It got through the first reading, and now it's going back. We're gonna bring the one that we turned down before.
Okay. So, where we're at is, I agree with go ahead, do the motion.
No, we have a motion in a
Okay.
second, so I'm just asking if you had any
No,
further
no
input.
more, no more.
So, Madam Clerk, read the motion, and we're gonna vote on that.
Motion to revisit chicken ordinance.
Suspend this one and revisit.
Suspend this one and revisit the original ordinance. Okay?
Does it revise as
Okay.
necessary?
Supervisor Miller.
Oh, yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Leverett. Treasurer Clee.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Fabdal.
Yes.
Trustee Burt.
No.
Okay. So that will come back at our next meeting, and it will take 2 readings to pass that ordinance if we get to that point. So action item B is the franchise agreement. It's 3175 Hogarth. You have the information in front of you. The board has to approve this franchise agreement. It's where permission for this resident to become a franchise customer with the City of Flint water system. They pay their taxes here. And when they become a franchise customer, if they don't pay their City of Flint water bill or sewer bill, we have the ability, through this franchise agreement, to place it on the tax roll it's a lien on their tax roll. So a motion is in order to move forward on this franchise agreement.
A motion to approve the franchise agreement for G3175 Hogarth with the City of Flint as presented.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the franchise agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. Action item C is the tax reverted property disposition. We have a list of the tax foreclosed properties in Flint Township, and the highlighted properties, I'm recommending that we take those through the tax reversion process. A couple of these properties are up there, but River Forest, We have someone who's interested in buying them. That's better than them sitting in the land bank, decaying. And then there's 3 commercial properties right on Linden Road. They won't be maintained if they, I mean, they'll try, but, the land bank is overwhelmed and has a hard time taking care of the large inventory that they have. And that could, be a good decision for the township to take those. It's right behind Fouch's. So a motion is in order to move forward on, taking the highlighted properties in the tax reversion process.
I'll make a motion that we take the tax reverted properties that are highlighted.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second it.
Any further questions or discussion?
Yes, I'm just curious why some we didn't, you know, was there a reason why we picked out particular ones? I know because you say they probably won't be maintained, but this was already approved for residential, right?
Right, so, when the land bank gets the properties, some of them need a lot of work, some of them will be condemned. I didn't go and look at that particular property, but it's a rare occasion that we take, residential. We did one time when there was an agreement made already before the process. There was a resident, buyers, who made agreements with, land bank, and we honored those agreements. And we did take one residential house that was before the law changed, and we received $80,000 for that. But, we don't normally take residential. But, like I said, the 2 vacant properties up by River Forest, we have a buyer firm already. And then the commercial properties, I think, would be a, something good for us to take and turn around and sell, or help develop. So we have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor of approving the properties that are highlighted on the list, that the township would take in the tax reversion, reverted property disposition resolution, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that's, passes by unanimous vote. Action item D is a Metro Act transfer of control. Did you wanna explain that? No? So we have a request through the Metro Act, a transfer of control, 123.net. You have the paperwork in front of you. The only question I have is, I tried to get a hold of the road commission. Anytime a request comes to us, it's supposed to be, they're supposed to have a permit from the road commission also, and I can't verify that. So if we're gonna vote and approve this tonight on that transfer, it'd be contingent on the permit, that they've gotten a permit from the road commission. So a motion would be in order to approve this.
We would move to accept the Metro Act transfer of control 123.net, contingent upon with your addition of the access permits to work in the right of way.
Is there a second to the motion? Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. We're on to action item E, clerical, level 2 sewer and water department. We have someone that we're recommending to fill the position in the water department. There were interviews conducted. Deb Check worked here for, as a part-time temporary employee for a short period of time. She is dependable and she works smart. So the recommendation is to hire her in the level 2 sewer and water position. Motion is in order to move forward.
I'll make a motion that we hire Deborah, or
Check.
Check, okay, to the level 2 sewer and water position.
Is there a second to the motion?
Or
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Oh, do you have a question?
I was just, if I may, can we talk about the impending retirement and why that position, what's happening in order to create that position?
If you want to.
We're not creating a new position, we're not.
Filling a vacancy.
We're filling a vacancy, yeah, just so everybody knows, we're filling a vacancy in that department.
Alrighty, all those in favor of hiring Deb Check for the level 2 position in the sewer and water department signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's unanimous. Action item F, Chief Salter.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. All right, I'll try this again. Since 2015, your police department has been purchasing Chevrolet Tahoes. They have proven to be dependable vehicles and maintain a healthy resale value. As with the prior models, these vehicles provide officers with better visibility of their surroundings and have proven to protect occupants effectively during crashes, which numerous times we've been in accidents where the vehicle's been completely totaled and the occupants walk away from the vehicle. The total cost for the two vehicles is $105,918. They are available through the Genesee County Vehicle Bid Contract through Berger, Chevrolet, and Grand Rapids. Also, I'm recommending we use Procom to upfit the vehicles for a total cost of $26,776. They are based in Mount Pleasant, but they have a station or a place right here in Flint Township. So I
Alrighty.
request approval of the purchase of two Chevrolet Tahoes from Berger Chevrolet for $105,918, and their upfitting from Procom for $26,776 for a total of $132,694. I would like to use a 2021 Jag and 2022 Jags funds totaling $55,000, and the remaining funds come out of the general fund for a total of $77,694. The purchase of these Chevrolet Tahoes and upfitting are budgeted in the 2024 budget.
Thank you. Is there a motion to move forward?
I'll make a motion to move forward with the purchase.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
We would second that.
So I'm just going to say, having been in a car accident and have my son as a police officer, I see the need for a larger vehicle. I get it. And I know there's been questions maybe to find a less expensive vehicle, but I know the work that you do. I've seen you out on the freeways. I came up on an accident one time, and there was one police officer, one car, handling the two-car accident, and it scared me. I didn't see, I mean, it just came on upon it really quickly, and I'm 100% in favor of this. So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion?
Did we explain to everyone about how you're gonna transfer the communications and all that stuff from one vehicle?
That's called the upfitting part. That's through Procom. That's where they transfer all the stuff from the 2018 vehicle that we're gonna turn in to the 2024 vehicle. All the communications, the computers, all the safety equipment, the parcels in a bag, the seats in a bag, all the safety equipment's in the back part of it. That's all done at the upfitting stage of it, through Procom, which is a local business.
So
Just want everybody to hear that.
we have a motion for two Tahoes in the total amount of $132,694. $55,000 of that is coming out of the JAG grant, and $77,694 is coming out of general fund. Can you take the roll call, please, Madam Clerk?
Wait, I had a question.
Oh, sure, sorry.
So what do you do with the old cars?
Our parking
Usually we
lot.
sell them for resale value, usually pretty good at resale value, or they come over here to the township for code enforcement officers. If they're okay to drive. By the time they're
Yeah.
patrol cars, for 6-year-old patrol cars, pretty hard.
So we're replacing these, why?
Because of the safety, when we replace them, they got approximately 100,000 miles on them. Right now, they do like 105, 106, which
right.
doesn't sound like for normal cars, but these are patrol cars.
Right.
So it's a lot of heavy braking,
Yeah.
fast acceleration, so we replace them two cars.
Thank you.
So you have a utility worker who drives one of the old vehicles, and we have two
I'm
of
sorry.
your old vehicles.
That was talking at me.
So in this transfer over, just let us know if they're in decent shape.
Yep,
We can,
will do.
thank you. So, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Treasurer Clee?
Yes.
Trustee Burt?
Yes.
Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller?
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes.
Thank you, Board.
Action item G, Chief Salter.
As I talked to each board member approximately 3 months ago, I'm going to retire effective the end of next month. I'm requesting that the board authorize Supervisor Miller to request a name for the next chief of police through the Civil Service Commission.
Thank you. Would someone like to make that motion?
We would move that we accept and request the supervisor to formally ask the Flint Township Civil Service Commission for the name on the list for the next chief of police for the township of Flint.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
That was trustee Vert. Any further discussion or questions for Chief Salter? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you. Let's see, action item H, Assistant Chief Raleigh.
Yes, ma'am. We're requesting approval to purchase 13 sets of turnout gear from Dingus Fire Company, totaling $49,789.35. Our turnout gear is going to be our pants and coat that our full-time guys utilize, or our firefighters utilize to go interior on structure fires to keep them safe. Turnout gear, our boots, gloves, helmets, coats and pants all have a 10-year shelf life that have to be replaced every 10 years. The state of Michigan came out this year with a great opportunity for all full-time firefighters in the state of Michigan. It's a grant opportunity. They pay up to $3,500 per set of turnout gear for all full-time firefighters. So the total cost of the purchase is $49,789.35. The state grant should cover $45,500, leaving $4,289.35 left coming out of for the township to pay. The purchase would require a budget amendment to the fire equipment millage because we've already utilized our turnout gear during the last purchase.
So the motion needs to include a budget amendment in that total amount, and when it's all said and done, it's just gonna be $4,289.35 that we've used out of the fire equipment millage, because we'll get $45,000 back in the grant. Someone like to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of 13 sets of firefighting turnout gears in the mid the budget, and the remaining cost for the township would be $4,289.35.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion for Assistant Chief Raleigh? I know you guys have a tight deadline to get this into the state, right?
Yes, ma'am. The end of this month is the closing.
Right.
Alrighty, no further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call please on the purchase of the 13 sets of turnout gear for a total of $49,789.35 and receiving a grant in the amount of $45,500 so that the money used out of fire equipment millage would be $4,289.35. And this approval requires a budget amendment in the fire equipment millage for the purchase.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Leverett.
Yes.
Treasurer Clee.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Burt.
Yes.
Trustee Fabdal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is action item I, is to authorize signatory for the Justice Award Grant.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. As I stated in the last agenda item, there's gonna be a few changes coming next month. So I'm requesting you formally recognize Lieutenant Nemechek as the authorized signatory for the grant-related documents. Township Supervisor Karen Miller remains the authorized signatory for the completed grant application and the interlocal agreement.
We would move to accept Chief's recommendation that Lieutenant Michael Nemechek be appointed the contact for the United States Department of Justice, otherwise known as the Justice Assistance Grant, JAG grants, and be added as the authorized signatory.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second it.
Thank you. Any further questions for Chief Salter? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Action item J, you have a list of catch basins which have to be repaired. And thankfully, we only have to pay for half. It totals $30,000. And this is through a contract, as you read in the email. The Road Commission puts this out for bid. It's a contract for every municipality in the township. And it's actually just townships that the Road Commission takes care of. So last year, we took care of 6 or 7 catch basins. Try to do that every year. Did I say it's in the amount of $30,000?
Yes.
So a motion is in order to move forward on this.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with repair the catch basins.
I second.
Any questions or discussion?
Madam Supervisor, you and I had a conversation, and one nice thing that could occur is, as in previous years, additional dollars have come back to us to help offset that 30,000. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Alrighty, so we have a motion and a second to proceed with the catch basin repairs with these estimates.
Do we want to allow the audience to know where, we should give them the notification where these are, shouldn't we not? I mean, we can list.
You can list them.
All right. I'm going to read off the names of these locations for everyone to be conscious of. 5313 Pinewood Drive, 1253 Riviera, 1290, 1290 Heatherwood Drive, 1186 Heatherwood Drive, opposite each other. 1183 Westwood Drive, it's on the northwest corner. 5457 Westchester Drive, and 5458 Westchester Drive are their locations.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, roll call please on the motion to make these repairs.
Trustee Burt.
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Supervisor Miller.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Leverett.
Yes.
Trustee Fabdall.
Yes.
And Treasurer Clee.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Our next meeting is scheduled for June 3rd, right here at 6 PM. And if there's no further business, and without objection, we'll call the meeting adjourned. That was a long meeting.